On this episode of In the House, Michael and I chat with Rick Villani and Preston Graham of Villani & Graham. We have a great conversation about how to find the right contractor for your project and why sometimes estimates can vary wildly even for the same scope of work. We also discuss why the heck construction takes so long and whether or not technology is helping us or hurting us. What's your opinion? And we talk about a whole bunch more. If you like this episode, please share with a friend and give the show 5 stars. Thanks for listening. Upgrade your construction layouts with Trademarks. These heavy-duty vinyl markers are designed to withstand harsh job site conditions. They're durable, waterproof, and perfect for marking locations for electrical, plumbing, HVAC, and more. Available in trade-specific colors, Trademarks make communication with your team simple, professional, and reliable. Whether you're recording benchmarks, elevations, or center lines, Trademarks ensure your layouts stay intact, even under heavy traffic. New customers enjoy 15% off at checkout. Visit trademarklayout.com to get yours today. Well, let's kick this thing off. Rick, Preston, I really appreciate y'all coming on, and thank you very much, Rick, for the bourbon. That was such a wonderful gift and very thoughtful. So, yeah, it's delicious. Thank you. And before we get started, I want to address the elephant in the room. Michael, what happened to your hair, buddy?
It's all gone. It's all gone.
My hair is officially longer than yours now.
Yeah, for those who don't know, I've been growing my hair out for a long time and just got tired of the Jesus comments, I guess.
So that's what I thought. I thought the comments were getting to you. You were starting to wear on you a a little bit. Well, now you look very respectable.
Thank you. Yeah, I
you look great.
Now I look like I know I'm
with
doing
a baby
something.
coming along.
That's right. Yeah,
that's part of it too. Being a dad, I feel like there's a certain amount of responsibility that you have. You got to look the part.
Well, you want your kids to respect you. So.
100%. 100%.
You gotta get over.
Even at year 0.
Good luck with that, Mike.
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
that's good.
Well, guys, like I said, thank you for coming on. We're just we just want to have a chat with you. I mean, we're all part of this amazing, wonderful industry, and it's very alluring. And there's so many different pathways and ways that you can get involved in this industry, and both of y'all, we were just talking a little bit about y'all's background, and each of y'all have your own unique history and your own story and how you got here, and they're both tremendous, and so I kind of want to start at that if we can, and get a little bit into your background, your story, and like how you got into construction.
Yeah.
And how y'all ended up working together at Villani and Graham. So, Rick, if you want to start off.
Sure thing, Lonnie. I started at UT, and then kind of, the short version is I made my way to Dell Computer. And during the layoffs, I had a choice to, I had a kind of a management job. And I could go back down into sales management, or I could get a pretty attractive severance that would let me do something I've wanted to do for a long time, which is to buy, fix, and sell houses. Yeah. Back then, we didn't call it flipping houses. It was was a word that came later.
Yeah.
But in essence, that's the genesis of spec homes, right? You're speculating on whether it's going to sell. You call all the shots.
Yeah.
And it was pretty fantastic. And so I was able to, I think, use the Michael Dell model of trying to get everything nailed down in a way that made it super efficient. I would go to Home Depot. I would make all these lists of the exact same cabinets, the exact same paint, the exact same everything, so that by the time we finished buying a house, that we were right on it. We could just slam it in 3 months, get it all done. And so did that for a number of years. And then Gary Keller, the founder of Keller Williams, asked me to write a book. He said, you should write a book on this.
Yeah.
And he says, in fact, if you do, I'll write the foreword. Very cool. So I did. And that was during a time when flipping was like really crazy. There were all these HGTV shows on flipping houses. We were on a couple of them.
Yeah.
And the book took off, and so that was great. And I I flipped houses. So that's how I got into the business. And I think you're right, Lonnie. People get into this business in all different kinds of ways. I'm not a handy guy at all. Don't have a handy bone in my body. My mom laughed when I told her I was going to do this for a living. But this was a way I could get into it and I could manage it. So that's sort of my entree into it through flipping.
Yeah. And I wanted to pause because, you mentioned this book, which is called Flip, and you can find it on Amazon. But so you really nail down and document your process on how to basically buy, flip, and sell homes. So how many homes did it take for you to get to this point where you knew, hey, I really got this process down, and this is something that's repeatable, and it's marketable, and something that anybody can come in using this process and be successful on a flip?
Yeah, my years at Dell were instrumental in this process orientation, because not only did we get a process for flipping a house, but we eventually got a process for starting a franchise of other people doing this in other states. So the number is somewhere over 1,000 houses.
That's awesome.
And so we were doing a lot of houses. And with no employees, I was doing like 11 houses at a time. And then I had guys in Atlanta and Houston and Dallas and Orlando. And it was crazy. And it was a lot of fun. And again, it just goes to show you that there are more than one ways to get into this business.
So many ways.
You know? So I had a construction company because of that from day one. And it's still the same construction company in a way, but we just went over to the dark side when things fell apart in 2008. There was no real estate investing anymore. It was a bad thing to invest in. A little similar to like it is today, but so we went over to the dark side. A client asked me, a guy asked me down the street. He said, "Would you be interested in remodeling my house?" He had read the book. I was like, "Wow, no, there's no way."
That sounds like a nightmare.
Having a client, I said yes. I got to tell you this story. He and his wife, this is my first project. This is my first official with a client project. I sat down with him and his wife afterwards. They took me to Starbucks. They wanted to do a postmortem on it. And they looked across the table at me at Starbucks and they said, "Rick, we just want to tell you that this was the most miserable experience we have ever had." And I was not expecting that.
Awesome. Yeah.
Wow. Expecting that at all. But they worked from home. The dogs were always getting out. It was a really crazy situation. And that's when we came up with this idea that Preston really helped me run with when he came on board, which was we started building houses inside of houses. So we built apartments inside the houses that we were remodeling, and that made all the difference in the world. They actually had front doors within the house, like a steel door, stud walls. We'd sheetrock it, and Preston had this crazy idea. Well, let's make their lives wonderful, and get their groceries, and we were doing all kinds of stuff like that.
That's
awesome. Incredible.
Remember?
Oh my gosh, it was a really fun. It was all an experiment. All the clients that we were engaging with at that time were all live-in. They all had, a few $100,000. They wanted to do pretty significant remodels. And that money went a long way at that time too. And so, but they all had to live in, there wasn't much real estate to rent. The circumstances were such that they're like, could we live in this project while you do it?
Yeah.
Oh my.
What we didn't know at the time was that you're supposed to say absolutely. But we did. We figured it out. And so we, like Rick said, we'd build these really elaborate tiny houses within the house, sheetrocked up, insulated. We'd leave the sheetrock and give the kids that were living there a bunch of crayons and they could decorate their space. And,
Wow.
In some cases we built like a little special shower. We had kitchens. None of which probably would have been technically acceptable for code type things.
Sure.
If we can say those things, we may need to edit that out later. But either way, it made it comfortable. We used a lot of IKEA things. We'd run over and grab things, just
make it work.
Solution. And it was fun. It was, and it worked for everybody. And they seemed to be really, really grateful that it worked out.
That's awesome.
I remember the Timberline client that they kept changing the plan so much that it was down to one bathroom left in the house that they could have lived in. Like everything else was being touched, and we really considered
because I just kept on expanding the project.
Exactly.
Yeah,
The project grew
that's how it
into
goes.
so much of the home that it was like, all right, guys, sorry, you're gonna have to move out of this one.
Okay, so one follow-up question for you on this. So the work that you do now is very different project type, but what's one thing that coming back from this kind of house flipping model that you've taken with you and you use on the type of projects you work on today? It's much more custom remodels or new builds.
Yeah, good question, Michael. We're still pretty process oriented, and I think that's probably what our DNA has been.
Yeah,
and it had to be for me because I am not handy.
Yeah,
so I focused on the management aspect of it. So very process oriented.
That's awesome.
Preston brings kind of I would say, warm people skills and really the hands-on site skills that you'd expect in a builder. When you meet Preston Graham, he's 6'4", he's Scottish, he looks the part of a Austin,
Yes.
Texas builder.
Like that guy's can
I'm
build something.
5'7" from the Northeast. I'm an Italian. We're like a buddy cop movie waiting to happen. But it really is. It's a great partnership because of that.
Yeah.
It's truly.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I mean, one thing that really caught my attention, we consider this, what we do in construction, like this is a service industry. Whether you think of it that way or not, but I mean, we definitely think of what we do as a way to serve others. And I think, what you said about, getting your clients groceries or giving the kids some crayons and, giving them something to do, and even building these partitions and making it as comfortable as possible while you're invading their space and doing this remodel, that's incredibly service-oriented way of thinking. You're putting yourself in their shoes and thinking like, what is it that I would like if I was in their situation? And that's great. I mean, that's what having a servant's heart is all about, and making the process as smooth and efficient as possible.
Yeah.
So that really caught my attention. When you said that, that's great.
Lonnie, Preston brings a lot of that to the table. We've been interviewing marketing companies with this kind of opportunity. I'm sure that we'll talk about in a minute that we're on right now, kind of a special house. And as they've gotten to know us, they've said things like, wow, you guys really care about stuff.
That's great.
And so we've started adopting this, kind of in our care or nobody out cares us. And I think that's probably our superpower. And I think
that's awesome.
Yeah. Preston brings a lot of that to the company.
Well, we definitely want to come back to that, that project, but Preston, tell us a little bit about your side. I know beforehand we were talking about it, but
for sure, and I'll do a much shorter version than that. I grew up in West Texas in San Angelo, and grew up kind of in a handy space. My dad was kind of a fixer, like he could fix anything, and so learned a lot of just hands-on, fix a lawnmower or replace this or build a birdhouse. We just did things. We build things, make things, and so I've always loved creating, and was really sure I wanted to be an architect pretty early on. It's something that I really loved it. I loved drawing. I loved the idea of, I love beautiful spaces and homes and buildings. But I didn't love it enough to get my grades to a point that would allow me to go to the architecture school at the University of Texas.
100%.
Apparently.
100%.
You can.
According to the admissions office. I missed that.
Right.
They're in UVA. Those are two places I applied.
Nice.
All right. So anyway, but they're willing to have me at their school. Barely. So anyway, I went to the University of Texas. But maintain that love and really easy trends. I mean, I bounced around a number of jobs early on in my life, trying to figure out what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But always loved that thing. So, I took a few odds and end jobs, kind of started painting, office buildings or, somebody's bedroom that they needed for $200 or, and that led to doing a little carpentry work here and there, which led to, a plumber, which led to me becoming kind of a pseudo general contractor. Then that led to a couple of friends saying, could you help me remodel my bathroom?
Yeah.
And, just little by little, things got bigger and bigger. And then,
Yeah.
Finally a friend said, could you remodel my whole house? And it was like, sure.
Why not? Let's
And
give
then
it a
let
try.
me estimate it wildly low.
Yeah.
And,
That'll be
then-
$10.
and
No
then-
problem.
I don't
Yeah.
want to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
And figure it all out.
Yeah.
And so, it led to that. And then, through just an amazing turn of events, met Rick at this kind of a reach out program, kind of like Habitat for Humanity, similar to that, where Rick was kind of running the show and
Come on.
helping all these women who had kind of just come out of prison and trying to get back on their feet again, and just ran this beautiful operation with I think like 5 different houses at once. And so I kind of worked in a way kind of as a project manager under him in helping with that group.
Cool.
Which is now called Crew. What is it? What's the
I think
business
it's
arm?
just crew now,
Is it
right?
just
Everything's
There's
just crew.
True.
Bummer. There's the education side and the business side, and I've just forgotten the name of it. Anyway, it's Campus Crusade, but there's the business wing and the college wing. But anyway, little time passed. We bumped into each other at a restaurant and decided to have coffee together. And the next thing you know, I'm working for Rick as a project manager on some really cool projects, one on Lake Austin and one over in Travis Country.
Come on.
And I mean, we couldn't have been working together for 18 months. Rick just comes over. I remember you had your 4Runner at the time. You pull up. You're like, hey, we're going to my brother's restaurant. I was like, okay. I didn't know your brother had a restaurant.
Sweet. Cool. Let's do it.
So he takes us over to
Wait,
That
plug
sounds yummy.
for my brother
Yeah.
Tony. He owns the Little Deli.
Yeah,
No,
little-
it's a fantastic
fantastic.
spot.
Where's it at?
It is great. It's off Wood.
Like a Arroyo
Woodrow?
Seca.
Arroyo
and-
Seco.
Yeah, and like Piedmont or
What is that?
Yeah.
I'm blanking on Woodrow.
Woodrow is the next street. So
Oh, it's the
that
next
would-
one.
that
But it's
would
Arroyo
work.
Seco. Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
that's
Awesome.
Crestview.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best pizza in Austin. Whatever the
Great
magazines,
spot.
they just get it wrong. But
Yeah.
either way.
Nice.
It's fantastic.
All right, so Little Deli, you'll get it.
I gotta check it out.
So he takes us over there. We have a Reuben and a slice of pepperoni.
Mm-hmm.
And we go sit and we get back in Rick's car, and he's real quiet. And he's like, Preston. He's like, I've been praying a lot. I was like, okay. And he's like, I think he's not sure. He's
Yeah.
like, you might even have gone so far as say it like this. So forgive me. I'm
No, you're good.
paraphrasing.
Yeah.
Rick's like, I could be a total idiot, but I'm pretty sure God's telling me to give you half of my business.
Come on.
Wow.
I'm taken back for sure. I'm like, I don't even know what you mean.
Yeah.
So like, what do you mean? He's like, I think we're supposed to be business partners, and I think I'm supposed to give you half my business.
That's awesome.
And he's like, I don't know
Wow.
what that means. He's like, we may not have any work tomorrow, and I have to tell you, sorry, this didn't work out. But for whatever reason, this is what I want to do, and I think this is what God wants us to do. And what's funny is I should have been in the moment, particularly. It would have been like, yes, that's awesome, thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But before I could say anything, Rick's like, but I want you to go talk to your wife, Sunny, and I want you guys to pray about it. And then I think it's Friday. So yeah, you're like, talk to me on Monday. And so I was like, okay. So anyway, we did, and it wasn't a hard decision. I felt really strongly about it too. So yeah, Monday I was like, I'm in. Let's do this.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's incredible.
And so
Yeah.
that was nearly
So
15
Monday we
years ago.
became Villani and Graham.
Come on.
Ooh.
So yeah, it was crazy, and
Yeah.
and he had all of this work, all of these clients. Like, there's no good reason for him to bring me in. As you guys know, what it takes to get just people to say yes to,
Yeah.
hiring you to do these
Yeah,
things.
100%.
And so he had this whole opportunity for business, and already had this great reputation that he'd built for himself, and was going to let this new guy in. It was. I mean,
What really iced
Once
it
in a
for
lifetime.
me was
Yeah.
we were on this project in Covenant Estates, and which is kind of in the off of Southwest Parkway, kind of a nice neighborhood, and it was maybe the most crooked kitchen wall I'd ever seen a framer frame in my life. I mean, literally a
Love it.
zigzag.
Oh, yeah.
oh, I know what you're talking about.
And
That's good.
I'm thinking, I want to see how Preston handles this. I'd never seen him, direct or correct in a trade before.
Yeah.
So Preston gets out a copy of the plans, and this guy's name is John. I remember this. He's up in the ladder, framing this wall. Preston walks over to him with the plans in his hand, and John gets off the ladder, Preston points to the plans and says 2 words. Turns out. Turns out it's supposed to be framed like this, John. That's it. John redid the wall just because Preston said, turns out. I later said to Preston, I said, you started with turns out? There were so many words I could think of to talk to John about this wall.
Particularly.
Exactly. And Preston leads with turns out. And that's all it took. And still today, that's the way he deals with our trades. And we have a family of trade partners like so many builders talk about. And largely because of him.
That's awesome.
The best decision I ever made.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this business is so hard, and we're constantly the ones who care. We're trying to get it right.
Yeah.
As best we can, whatever right is. Just to the best of our ability to take care of the client, take care of the plans that were carefully crafted by architects and designers, and try and execute on these things. And to do that, we have to use humans.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the human experience is a lot, right? For all of us, we have a lot going on beyond, the tools we're holding and
absolutely
we're pulling. And so yeah, we try really hard, Rick and I both, to be, to recognize that and to be kind and to encourage these guys as we go. And that we just feel like that's it's a meaningful way for us to do it. And it may not get us where we want to go as fast as we want to go, or on some days, but we think the long game on that's important.
It's a delicate balance. It's a fine line you have to walk because you do, you have to show, in my opinion, and I'm much in agreement with you. Yeah. You have to show kindness and understanding, but you also have to balance that with firmness and, making sure that they are understanding of what the expectations are of them. I think a lot of it it's very similar to like dealing with children. It's you approach your kids with kindness and love, but when they do something that they're not supposed to, you have to correct them. So I think it's very similar to that. But that's kind of a good segue, I think, in our first topic, which is as contractors, and even if you're just a homeowner and you're trying to flip your own house and you go and you're searching for subs, I want y'all's opinion on, what, especially if you're a homeowner and you're looking to remodel your own house, you want to play general contractor. What do you look for in a subcontractor to know like they're going to be a good fit on my project?
Oh gosh.
I know.
I probably have several answers.
And I think because there are several answers. There are several different kinds of trades, and it depends on what business you're in. So maybe a better question to ask to answer that question is, what business are we in? So, introducing Villani and Graham, we are custom home builders.
Yeah.
Now, what does that mean? That means we're not spec home builders, and we're not tract home builders. I think those are the 3 flavors. Is there a 4th flavor, guys?
That's not.
I think those are the 3 flavors: tract, custom, and spec.
In the residential space.
In the residential space.
Yeah.
And so what custom means is something completely different than tract. It means that there are many different kinds of challenges. And it means that we have to have a different kind of trade, Lonnie, than spec or tract.
Yeah.
So there are different kinds of trades. And so I have to answer the question in the context of, are you wanting me to be a homeowner, and what kind of trade should I hire as a homeowner? Or do you want me to answer the question as Villani and Graham, who is a higher end custom home builder? Or, we've done, we're interested in doing specs. That would be another answer too.
Well, you've kind of had your foot in both worlds.
I have.
So I think that you offer a unique perspective that, maybe you could provide. If there's anybody listening who's thinking about tackling a remodel by themselves, maybe you could offer them some guidance on, how do you go through that selection process and find the right subcontractor, and make sure you're making the right decision.
I think that in and of itself, you kind of started to answer that. I think there's oftentimes not an understanding of those different categories. And so as a homeowner or as a general contractor, what type of trade? And so that's, I think to answer that, you need to understand different pieces. One of those is what type of work has the trade that you're looking at, the crew, company, whatever, performed before. What's there? They kind of are coming in with a mindset.
Yeah.
That's you're kind of halfway there in some ways.
Yeah, and it drives the question, or the answer to the question, why do things cost so many different prices? Why are there so many different prices for the same thing, right? That's sort of where we're going with this.
Yeah.
And when we were flipping houses, buying, fixing, and selling them, we were like, how could those guys in the custom home be so expensive? There's just no way things
That's
cost
crazy.
that much. But when I'm flipping houses, back to your point, Lonnie, I'm dealing with the guys holding the tools directly.
Yep.
And that can be a miserable experience.
Sure can be.
What we're all doing, the four of us, we are working with the owners of the companies who deal with their crew leaders, who deal with the guys that are holding the tools. And sometimes there's even guys between those. So we're several people apart now. So when
there's
you're
like 15 podcasts just on that topic.
They're
by the way.
right, Preston? Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Let's go.
No,
Let's do it.
Yeah.
But that's really
No,
true.
that's.
I think if I'm trying to answer your question, Lonnie, like a quick thought. My friend called, say, hey, I want to remodel my house. I don't want to hire you, but I want some advice on how to pick trades. It's so nuanced, right? There's so many, one thing to say you want to remodel your house, another thing to say you want to remodel a kitchen. There are a lot of solutions to that. But my advice, which would not be, but if I were starting off and I would say, go, heck, at this point, jump on Instagram and find a couple of builders in the Austin area that you really like their work.
Yeah.
And then start driving by their houses and take the numbers off the trucks in front. Now that's bad form, right? We jokingly call that poaching, but either way, I mean, at the end of the day, you're looking for people you can trust.
Yeah.
And so finding ways to find a trusted person, I think are really important. And I think if any of my friends if our friends called us and they asked for it, we would tell them exactly who to call, these people that we work with. And we'd say, call them, tell them we sent you. And that's who you call.
Yeah. Building is remarkably communal.
Yep.
Exactly. It really.
Yeah.
And we noticed
That's actually the answer right there.
That's a huge.
That's the answer, because good trades hang out with good trades. And so the best place that we can find an electrician is by asking our good plumber or our good mechanical contractor.
Yeah.
Because they hang out together.
That's very good. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that you just hit it right there, Michael.
It's really cool too. Sorry, I'll just going to finish this thought. But in the age of where things are really focused on technology, on, artificial intelligence, I think there's a tendency often to take trades and dehumanize them. I'm just looking for a painter. I'm just looking for a plumber. But to do X or Y, particularly on the end of like the client facing realm, I think that can just be super really abstract. I've never done right.
So much? How could
exactly?
It's just a paint job.
100%. We just need to fix the light, or whatever. We just need new can lights. But you really are. You're hiring people. And that matters, and there's a flavor to that. Anyways.
No, that's absolutely right, and I think I guess that again, my advice would be to simply call, to try and connect with and call people that you think the work is great. I mean, generally speaking, we're either taught. We won't give you some. There's no world where I would give you somebody that I didn't think would do a good job. First off, so again, that's the friend talking to the friend builder.
Yeah.
I don't want you to have a bad experience. But if you're just, you pulled into Austin, out of the blue, and you're trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
Oh man, the whole searching on Google, that seems really scary to me.
It does.
Find good people and ask those good people who their good people are. Right?
Yeah, that's a good
idea.
Yeah,
That's
I like
good.
that.
Yeah, you could go through your church
Yeah.
or something,
Yeah.
like start with something like that, or
Yeah.
communities generally talk well or not well.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
people. So I know
You-
it's all obvious.
You could
but-
probably,
No, that's-
like you said, you could find out, maybe amongst your friend group, maybe there's somebody who just went through a remodel.
Yep.
Or,
For sure.
and they could recommend somebody. So that's definitely a good resource. But, yeah, I get what you're saying about referrals. I take referrals very personally because I feel like a referral is like a reflection on me.
course.
And it's like,
It is.
if I refer somebody and it doesn't work out, well,
I've
then
had
I
that,
look like
I've had that happen.
Yeah.
For sure.
I look like a jerk. I'm like, man. So, yeah, referrals I take very, very, very seriously. And
How awesome is it though to get a referral from somebody? Like,
oh, it's
if
amazing,
you
right?
guys working
Yeah.
for like the best builder in Central Texas say something. Do you know how much weight?
That's the highest
words
compliment
That's
that anybody
really
could
cool.
get.
Awesome.
Yeah. That's the
So,
highest compliment.
Yeah, I mean,
Very
it's
fun.
like that's meaningful for a friend.
Yes.
Really, you tell me your tile guy's name?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
That's such a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such
Yeah.
a big deal because I was trying to get a guy from Floor and Decor the other day to help me. And you're like, no, this is like, it's a big deal.
This is an
Those are
artist.
cool-
This is
those
a
are
craftsman.
meaningful
You're,
things,
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
And
yeah.
then there's defining what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
This guy's $50 a square foot to install your tile.
Yeah.
But there's the tile will actually send a thank you note to the guy who's setting it because he's that good.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
there's a guy who'll set that tile for $10 a foot.
Yeah.
And it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's such a difference with all that.
Yeah.
And so anyway,
Yeah.
sorry. I don't know if we're really hitting what you were asking.
No, that was
right.
I kind of wanted to get into a little bit though. I mean, we've kind of been talking around it, but why there are such differences in people's estimates. Why you can get 2 or 3 different plumbers, or 3 or 4 different plumbers to give you an estimate on the same scope of work, and they can be vastly different. And it seems very odd. And I don't know if y'all want to weigh in on that. And
It's a great topic.
yeah.
Yeah.
You say the same thing about our estimates, our builder's
Yeah,
estimates.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's this
Anybody.
echelon of difficulty, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're in kind of a difficult space.
Mm-hmm.
Preston has this great line, by the way. He says, building a custom home is like trying to land a 747 on an aircraft carrier.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it's really the truth too. I mean, you've got this huge complex machine with a lot of momentum. You're trying to land on this tiny moving target. There's no margin for error.
Mm-hmm.
And the stakes are really high. The weather's changing every 20 minutes.
That's
Yeah.
really good.
Especially
Oh,
the
that's
past
a
couple
great
weeks.
Yeah.
And you don't get to delay. You don't get to do over. You don't get to circle back. You don't get to take a couple of spins, and you don't get a retry. You've got to stick that landing the first time.
Yeah.
And so we're all, I mean, first of all, you guys are just our heroes. I mean, you've been our heroes. Daglish is David and the company that you guys have built with him. It's just, we all want to be like you. I mean,
Thanks.
we really do in so many ways, but it's tough what we do. It really is tough. And so we have to hire a level of trade that coincides with this kind of a business. And you can say a couple of things about that, but
For sure.
that's what makes them what they cost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think craftsmanship. Of course, we throw that around a lot, and it's important to say that. I can give a child a hammer and put a nail in a block and say hammer that in, and we can do. And I don't know, an 8-year-old might be able to kind of get that nail down into the block
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah.
And, as we look at different people and different levels of experience, can approach that nail in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And anyway, with that said, when you have so much complexity and so many things happening at once on these large scale projects, you need real competence, and you need to be able to trust. Because I, for example, as a builder, can't go build I can't do everything in a project by myself, or these projects would take 20 years.
Yeah.
I might
Yeah.
think I can,
Mhm.
but at the end of the day, I need help. I need a lot of help. I need hundreds of craftsmen to come into these projects and come help us accomplish this goal, because the clients kind of want to move into them, 2 to 3 years, about as much as you'll ever get out of a client without a lot of frustration.
Yeah.
And so anyway, that means they've got to be really talented at what they do, and they've got to be really good at who they hire to help them accomplish those goals as well. And so I need to be able to say, I need you to execute this portion of a plan really well. And I need to trust that you understand what something being level and plumb means. I need to, when we talk about details, I need to be able to use my words to communicate that and know you understand me.
Yeah.
On our best days, I'll have a plan that helps indicate what that looks like. That's not always possible.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you're expecting a lot from another person, and a lot, ideally, experience. And obviously, all of our jobs will have new people learning on those as well. And that's great. That's part of how this thing keeps going. But yeah, you need really talented people to produce the outcomes we're talking about, or the type of work we're doing. And the plumber comment you made, if I may, sorry.
You're good.
I do believe, I'll try and create a really simple example.
Yeah.
I want a plumber to set a toilet.
Yeah.
I call my plumber, I need a new toilet installed at my house. And the plumber's like, cool, $1,800. And I get another quote for $500.
Mm-hmm.
What's the deal?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Well, the deal is probably, there's always a possibility that someone's just charging you a ton of money.
Yeah.
But there's more likely what's going on is that there's not clarity on the scope of work. One plumber got a toilet from a used toilet from the rehab store and can get a toilet installed for you with a used wax ring and a little bit of elbow grease and maybe toothpaste to caulk the bottom of the toilet, right? I will crush that for you for $500.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? And if you let me use your toothpaste, I'll do it for $475. So either way, like there's that version, right?
Yeah.
And obviously it could be a cheaper toilet, right?
Yeah.
With done right. But,
Yeah.
But then there's the other guy who's like, I'll provide you a really nice, Toto toilet.
Mm-hmm.
We'll come in, we'll roll out paper all the way from the front door out to your toilet.
Yeah.
We're going to dress really sharp.
Yeah.
We'll even send you our background checks in advance so you know that we're good folks.
Yeah.
We show up in a truck that makes you feel like there's a respected person out front. That costs money. There's overhead involved in that.
Yeah.
We also have TIF treats sent to you that, afterwards just to tell you we're grateful that you considered us for the job. Like there's so many things that go into the, I'm giving you kind of a ridiculous alternate example, but
no, that's
perfect.
At the end of the day,
that's really well done.
What do you want?
Yeah.
What do you want?
Yeah.
And we really all want a good experience. We just don't want to pay money for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great.
And that, with more time and some, taking some notes, I probably could have given you a better example, but in essence, scope, spec, clarity.
I think you hit the nail on the head, and that really speaks to me because what I'm going through right now, we're getting ready to start a new project in an area that we've never worked in before, and so we're having to rely on a trade base that we don't know anybody.
Oh wow!
And so there's some challenges with that, but recently I've gathered several estimates from some local plumbers, about 4 plumbers, and 3 of them, were all kind of in the same range, and then one was like way low, right? So that one immediately in my mind is like, something's wrong. Either he's missing something or using subpar materials or labor or whatever. That one didn't even make the cut. But what I don't necessarily care, what the price is. What got me was, like you said, the clarity. Mm-hmm. One of them, what sold me was this plumber broke down every single item, that was to be done, and in a very detailed estimate. And then along with that, he had a submittal document that showed exactly what materials he was using and the specs on the materials, and every fitting, every pipe, every valve, everything was spelled out in this document.
That's cool.
And, and even the valve boxes that were going in the ground.
That's amazing.
And the valve boxes, were going to be installed, and the valves were going to be labeled, and it was going to be filled with pea gravel, so it'd be presentable when you open the lid. It's nice and neat and organized, and it has a metal plaque on the valve so you know what it goes to. And it's like, I didn't suggest that. That was in his estimate.
That's great.
And,
I like the pea gravel, too.
Yeah. Well, there you go. There you go. You can use that. But, that's what got me was this was so well thought out, so well planned and detailed. I was like, I don't even care about the number. That sold me.
guy.
Yeah, that's my guy. Because if he's going to be that detailed and meticulous in his estimating, I think when it comes to the execution, it's going to be equally detailed.
Yeah, when the estimate challenges you you're like, wait, did I think about all this?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, man, I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
That's a good sign.
I've got another thing that we've talked about before, and I bet you guys have noticed this as well. If you have the ability to watch how a trade rolls in the morning and then rolls out at the end of the day,
Yeah.
the good ones
Oh yeah.
really take their time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating sometimes to watch, right? Because
I know what you
you're
mean.
like as a project manager,
Yeah.
Preston are like, come on,
Yeah.
go,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's like they just take their time and they organize everything
Coming
and
in
they have this
slow.
really methodical roll in.
It's
And
just
at the
so
end of the
frustrating.
At the end of the day, though, it's the same way. They roll out very methodically. Their tools are organized.
Yeah.
Their trash is cleaned up.
100%.
That, Lonnie, is a really great way, if you can observe a trade work,
Yeah.
Oh,
to
absolutely.
note a good trade.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know what? I also want to extend that to builders too. I think oftentimes at the beginning of projects, there's a lot of energy. The clients are anxious. They're ready to get going. But when I find that the projects, when we take our time, that same approach, and we're prepared, we take our time moving into the site in a way that's methodical and organized, it's the same effect where the momentum starts to build, but you're not, as opposed to, let's just get in there, and same thing happens with trades. You put the trades, they're just rushing in, they start doing random things, and at the end of the day, the product's not as good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very good. That's a great example. Well, okay, so the last topic or subject matter that I really wanted y'all's opinion on is technology. So we live in this technological age, and I really want to know, is technology helping us or hurting us? And I look back at some examples from, not too long ago. If you look at the not the World Trade Center, but the other building. I'm drawing a blank. Maybe too much whiskey, but the big building in New York.
Empire State
That one.
Empire State
That
Building.
one.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't
11
know.
months.
I'm so
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it took 14 months.
14, okay.
14 months from start to finish.
Wow.
No technology, no cell phones, no internet, nothing. 14 months. And, we'd be lucky if we can remodel or build a home in 14 months. So,
That'd be lightning speed.
right? So it's like, with all this technology, is it really helping us? Maybe in some ways it is, but in other ways,
and
like,
define
is it?
technology as well, just for this conversation,
Yeah, I know
because
that's broad.
because
Okay.
we could say like construction technology, like new tools or stuff like that. But you're probably thinking more cell phones and
Sure. I mean, you could
Computers.
the internet. You could say cell phones.
Yeah.
I know there's project management software. There's budgeting and accounting software.
yeah,
All of those different things that kind of come into play throughout the build process. And you kind of look at it like, is this really helping us, or is this actually something that's getting in the way of being productive?
I just don't want to
wanna
be
go
that
first?
guy and say, no, technology will never,
yeah.
and then along comes something.
Sure.
But we've seen on this project that we're on right now, because we've had to take a typically, 14 to 18 month build time for a custom luxury home that we do. And we had to do this one in 8 months.
Wow.
Wow.
And so, golly, guys. So I met with a commercial guy that builds, skyscrapers, basically.
Yeah.
You mentioned the Empire State Building. And I sat down with Wayne Lott is his name. Great guy. I've been in the business forever. And with software and with tools, but also with looking at relationships, he basically said, you've got to figure out a way for everybody to be there all at once. And so we've adopted this saying with this project: always do everything all the time now. And so how do you always do everything all the time now? Could you do it better with software? Possibly. Right? Possibly.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that question.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
it's tricky.
I mean, you can definitely give examples. Just today, the fact that we have a project where the architect and designer in Dallas, right?
Mhm.
So, but we're building here in Austin. So, did FaceTime help me get the mirror where it was supposed to go today? Yes, it did.
Mm.
That's technology,
Mm.
honestly, in a really great way.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
that was fantastic. We were
Uh-huh.
able to solve a really simple problem,
Yeah.
but to do that quickly because the plan didn't translate well on site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We noticed, you know what, guys, I don't know if I were to show you what I'm looking at, you might want to move this a little bit. So it was an opportunity to make an adjustment.
Mm.
So that's one example, I think, of technology really being great.
We certainly use it in our contracts.
Sure.
Mhm.
You know, we have an unreasonably long building contract. You know, we use the tab, and
Mhm.
most of our clients contest it. They,
Mhm.
you know, they take it to their lawyers, and their
Mhm.
lawyers find a lot of holes in it, and so now I'm just able to dump all of their holes into chat, you know, into the AI,
Yeah.
and say summarize what they're contesting, and give me how I should contest their contestations.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
and then I can ship it to my lawyer. But I've done a little bit of the legwork for
Uh-huh.
him,
Wow.
and so you know, so there's a way,
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the softwares, like we've used Buildertrend for a few years, and that's neat. I mean, there's some cool things that come from that, particularly, and some of my favorite things are some of the change order management. I find that really nice. I love the fact that they can digitally sign.
Yeah,
Again, a lot
for
of our
sure.
clients aren't here. You guys have
Mhm.
the same
Yeah.
thing,
Yep.
right? They're
Yeah.
not next to us. I can't walk over and
Right.
get something approved. And those kind of things, they take so long to reestimate to get done. You're looking for a quick signature, and let's get this done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice. You know, I think about the Empire State Building. It's just unbelievable. But if I want to try and break it down, I'm like, how much advantage is there to every floor being the same as the next one? So when I think about anything we do fast if we get to build it once before, twice before, 20 times before.
That's
We
true.
do improve efficiencies, right?
Yeah. 100%.
I wonder how much of the Empire... Now, again, you look at just the outside of the building, you're like, the masons alone should have taken a decade.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But on some level, you know, as you look at that, you know, we talk about what we all do as prototyping, right? Like it's
Your best metaphor for the business
But
is that what we do is build
yeah,
prototypes.
I love
Mm.
cars, so like I always think about like car companies trying to, you know, they prototype a new car, right?
Uh-huh.
So you imagine you've probably seen images of them using clay to just sculpt the shape of the car, much
Yeah.
less how it operates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all the time that it takes, and then they get to perfect it, and they go test it and break it and test it and break it, and they do thousands of cars before they put that, you know, new S-Class out for the first person to buy.
Yeah.
Our clients want the S-Class too,
Mm-hmm.
right? But
Boy, do they ever!
we don't get, and it's great, and they should, right? They
Yeah.
have the means, and they want to do that, and
Yeah.
and we want to help them get that. But,
Yeah.
but we have to, as you guys know, we have to actually get it right out of the gate. We don't
Yeah.
we don't get to try it out and make sure that it's going to work.
100%.
Yeah.
We have experience, and we have plans and engineers and people, professionals that all working around us, but
Yeah.
everyone's different.
Mm.
Yeah.
And so it's we got to figure it out on the fly, and it's got to work the minute it comes off the.
On the fly is a good way to put it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like we do have a game plan, but we're always calling audibles to the extent that
Yeah.
it's mostly inaudible.
Mhm.
You know, it seems like that, you know, doesn't it?
It
Yeah.
does.
You're right.
It does. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't mean to sound like I'm totally knocking tech and all the tools that are available. You know, I do think they are a net positive when you consider some of the alternatives. It just, you know, when you look at examples like the Empire State Building, yeah, a lot of those floors are repeatable, and there were some efficiencies that were gained because of that. You know, and then also there was a small city of people, you know, really who were devoted to building this one building.
Mhm.
So there was just a mass amount of people and manpower and money in this thing that I think got a lot of people. It drew a lot of people to New York, you know, in order to be a part of this. So I don't know if it's necessarily an apples to apples comparison, but you know, that's definitely an example that's thrown around a lot. It's like when you look at, well, this is just one custom home, and this is a whole skyscraper, you know. So,
But you could also argue, I would think. So, do we also have the stats on how much it costs to build it in perspective? How much did it cost to build the Empire State Building? in those dollars and today's dollars versus one of the homes we build. And, if we could make a comparison.
That's fair.
If I told you that if you really want, I mean, we all talk about the 3 knobs we can turn, right, on any project.
Yeah.
They're very real.
Yeah.
And so as
Quality
we know on this project
time.
we're doing right now, we just
Quality time and
Schedule.
money.
Schedule,
Yeah, exactly. And so you
There's
want a
no time,
fast
money,
house. A
yeah.
fast house can happen to a point, right? Concrete still dries at the same,
Yep.
sheetrock mud dries at the same, like you can't control those things that much, but there are things you can do.
Yeah.
And you can certainly put a lot of people on a project. And so, at the end of the day, I'm not suggesting you should do this, by the way, but you probably could. I mean, you really can make a difference to time if you want to, but it does cost money. And so I wonder, if there were 12,000 people building the Empire State Building at the same time versus any given day on our job sites, there might be 20 to 25 people at most.
Yes.
Sure.
That's a big difference.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
a big
So, I
difference.
don't know. There's probably something to be said for that.
No,
Yeah.
Some
there
math
is.
we could do,
Absolutely.
to figure out.
I'm sure AI can figure it out.
Yeah. But it is fascinating.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I have a weird pride about the Empire State Building. I don't know if it's just being an American, but that's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
It's
Or
so
maybe
cool.
because
Yeah.
we're builders and we can appreciate it. We
Yeah,
know that
sure.
that matters.
I think
And
there's an
that's
element
really
to that.
impressive.
It's
My
super
kids
impressive.
didn't care. Like, what's 11 months?
Yeah.
Okay,
But,
speaking of impressive projects, tell
yeah.
us a little bit about this one that you guys are working
Yeah. I want to hear about it.
Well, we had the opportunity that was brought to us really to build the House Beautiful 2025 Showcase House, which has been a lot of fun and really crazy.
And what is House
What is
Beautiful?
that? Yeah.
So it's House Beautiful magazine. Every year they
Oh,
do
cool.
Oh.
what they call their Showcase House of the Year, and this year they chose Austin, Texas.
Cool.
And there's an interview process, and so we were selected to build that, and it has been something else. What we didn't realize at the time was that was this before or after we agreed to do this?
Depends on what you're about to say.
that because of their production schedule, we needed to do it in 8 months.
And how big is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, this is what's that?
How big is it?
It's just about
Roughly?
4,000. Yeah,
Yeah.
and 3 stories.
Come on.
And so it's been a real lesson. I mean, it's certainly a lot more adrenaline, as you would imagine. You're doing something on a national stage. The cameras are rolling, and it's going to be on the cover of a magazine, and so yeah, a lot of adrenaline, and I think it may be an example in how collaboration is the key to everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've got today 18 unique trades in that house right now.
That's wild.
18 unique trades. That's a lot.
That's a lot of trades.
That could only happen if these guys were willing to do it. And,
Yeah.
you can speak a lot about it.
Yeah.
That's-
I think the opportunity, I just felt like the opportunity came to us through our client, actually, whom is a designer and had the connection and brought that to life. And so it's, I don't know. I think we had mixed feelings going into it because once we did find out about the time frame, we're like, we've not built a house like that fast.
Yeah.
And so we really thought about it and prayed about it a bunch. I mean, I think we spent a couple of weeks before we actually agreed.
Yeah.
We were kind of thinking that they might just go find somebody else at that point too, because it was like we were nervous about it.
Yeah.
And then Rick's like he couldn't help himself. Middle of the night, you were probably up at 2 a.m. working on that schedule you did. And you're like, yeah, I think you can do this. Here's
Come
what it looks
on.
like. And so Rick creates this the effect Gantt chart, for what it's worth.
Sure.
Yeah.
And had everybody staggered in. He's like, what if we did this? And what if they worked on this while these guys were working on that? And so I was, we're like, maybe, but I mean, and so I had all the negative reasons why it wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
Like, nobody wants that. And the painter's not going to let you do that while he's trying to spray paint or whatever. And, we just talked to everybody. We just, we communicated, we connected with all the guys that we've been working with for years. And we said, in or out, no big deal. If you don't want to do this, we get it. We don't want to do this, but we kind of do. It'd be cool if it works.
Right.
Yeah. See if we can pull this off.
Yeah, and so I would say that almost everybody was like, let's try it. And so it was kind of fun.
That's awesome.
It's been really hard. Don't get me wrong. It's been really stressful.
Yeah.
It's been nights and weekends of stuff that, energy we'd rather, put elsewhere probably, but
as we like to say,
yeah.
guys, 8 interior designers on this.
Oh,
So
my.
8 interior designers, 8 months and 80 hours a week.
my
And that's pretty
gosh,
much
that is crazy.
Wow.
Okay, so how much of the like we have the saying that we say, we try to avoid the client seeing the sausage being made,
interesting.
and so, but this is the time. I mean, the timeline is just pretty compressed. How much of the day-to-day wins and losses are you guys letting? I don't know how you're kind of communicating
Sure.
with but are they saying, "Hey, see you in 8 months," and here's the money, or is it? Or are they kind of really on you guys about what's going? How much are you guys kind of dialoguing with them?
It's actually it's
They've
more
been
like,
great that way.
do whatever you want to do as long as it's what we need when we need it. But I mean, it kind
That's
of is.
awesome.
And
yeah,
I don't actually
Those are great
mean
clients.
that
Oh,
as
yeah.
sarcastically as that came out.
yeah. No, that's
But in essence, no. In some
Yeah.
ways, that's actually been really nice
Yeah.
because, to your point, experiencing how the sausage is made in the construction sense of that can be so stressful to clients, right?
Oh, yeah.
Heck,
Yeah.
It's stressful to us if we
Oh,
see
yeah.
it all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, I think considering what we're doing, we've been really trusted. And as a builder, there may be no better thing than for us to get to trust with the client quick
yeah,
and feel like that's something that they do trust us to do our job.
yeah.
And we've been blessed with that, with this project. I really think we have.
That's awesome.
The information exchange is always the challenge, right?
Mhm.
And then adding more information from multiple sources. It could be worse,
but not much.
It's a lot.
That's-
And I might be being slightly diplomatic, but,
Yeah,
but I mean, I think, it's hard. It's
Yeah.
been really hard.
yeah,
Would I do it again? Probably not.
yeah. Let's say,
Yeah.
I don't know what
Fair.
the stakes would be
Guys,
to
yeah.
say yes to change my mind, but I would say at the moment I wouldn't. I'll
Yeah.
be glad when we finish it.
Yeah.
I think we'll be grateful for the opportunity. What we've learned about what guys can do, though.
Oh, my
what we've
gosh.
learned about what they're willing to do under the right,
I can imagine,
circumstances. Could we build a house faster if we really needed to?
Yeah.
Those are
Turns
really
out,
cool.
yes.
Yeah.
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 And we love, I don't know, we kind of love challenges, but we also love like what can happen in this business. How
Yeah.
could it run better or
Yeah.
operate better? And this is it's been a neat experiment.
Well,
Yeah.
we're
It's not done yet either.
Yeah.
so
No.
you
Hey.
ask
How
us
much?
to-
How much time is left?
7
5
weeks.
weeks.
Is it?
It's August 31st, right?
That's right, yeah.
So
Woo.
6 weeks.
Come on.
Well, 5 weeks to pass all of our inspections.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
Oh, and
Oh,
it's,
there you
is
go.
it in the city of Austin?
It
You're
is in
right.
Austin.
We've actually-
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
So
that's some
that's
extra
fun.
red tape there. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is an out in the middle of
5
nowhere.
weeks.
Guys, we're super excited to see the
It'll be fun.
result. I
Yeah.
bet you guys are gonna kill it.
We'll have you guys out.
Yeah,
on,
that would be great to be able to see that. That's
Really
amazing.
love that. And I think we talked about this on a recent episode with someone, but I think, but then COVID might be one of the large indicators of this, but particularly in this segment of the market, these kind of high-end custom homes, time is really, it's the one thing that people have it's a limited resource on some of these projects. And so I really, I think you guys have a really cool kind of laboratory here where you guys are able to kind of experiment with, okay, how can we maintain the quality and the essence of these homes? And obviously y'all's is an extreme example, but successfully drive the schedule in a way that gets to what the client needs. And for each project that's different, but I think that's really cool, guys.
Yeah.
It's interesting. We have always asked our trades, how soon can you get started? And now we're asking them, how soon can you finish? And
Yeah.
which is, we don't usually ask that question.
That's interesting.
Which, there's a lot of reasons for it. And guys, we could talk for another 2 hours
Yeah,
about
I'm sure.
some of this
I'm
stuff
sure,
and
yeah.
geek out about design, because Preston and
Yeah.
I both are very design centric, and we would love to geek out with you guys.
Yeah.
Maybe on a future episode about design.
Come on.
I love it.
But it turns out that because none of these projects are baked, going a little bit slower is helpful, because it gets you time to catch your breath and get all of those specs in. And so, this has been really interesting.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
You just elaborate on what you're saying. Imagine kind of the space we're in. If I were to try and quantify this in a way, let's say that architecturally speaking, the space we're in, it's more common for me to have a 10 to 12 page plan set. And my guess is that plan sets you guys are interacting with are north of that number in the 25 to 100 page difference.
Totally.
And so there are a number of things that there's an extreme cost difference for those plans, right? And so we're just in this space. The place we operate in, which is we would consider ourselves, kind of an echelon below where you guys are operating.
Sure.
And so,
Can I give him the echelons?
Oh,
Right,
please,
so Here are the echelons.
Yeah.
You've got basic, which is kind of apartment grade-ish.
Yeah.
Standard, where most Americans live. That's standard's the next echelon.
Yeah.
Designer, which is where most people want to graduate up to. They want a house that looks like a designer was there.
Yeah.
And then finally, well, not quite finally, custom. So basic, standard, designer, and custom. And you'll see these play out in a lot of things.
Yeah.
Cars, appliances.
100%.
Right? You got Hot Point.
Yes.
GE makes Hot Point all the way up to Monogram, right?
Yep. Yeah.
But then you've got something called Daglish. And here's what we call it. We call it living in artwork.
Yeah.
And that's that fifth echelon that we're not in, that you guys are in.
Yeah.
Where everything, every wall, everything is a piece of art.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned cars in that because people really can understand that in the car.
Yeah.
Sure. Where there's something about that that's just really intuitive to general people. And so I always go to that too. It's like, hey, Ferrari, Porsche, you can walk them all the way down to the Hyundai,
Absolutely.
And all of them get you from A to B.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they're all great. They all
Absolutely.
serve their purpose,
Absolutely.
My first car was a 1999 Toyota Camry, and that was, for a first time driver, that's what you want to be. You don't want to be in a Porsche, because
Is that Russ's car?
it was actually my aunt's mom's car.
Okay.
And she was a smoker, and so I drove that thing with the windows down mostly.
Nice.
But to y'all's point about these different edges, I think that's great to kind of identify. Hey, this is the world we're in, and kind of how we're, and kind of the people that we're serving.
My first car was a 57 Porsche.
Get out of here.
I say that. It was a replica. So I was a liar. It was not. It was a replica 57 Porsche. So it was built on one of those like Volkswagen Bug frames,
That's hilarious.
It was a death trap. I don't know why my parents got that for me.
Just all metal.
It was all fiberglass and no airbag, no nothing. Just the lap belt. It was seriously a death trap. I'm lucky to be alive.
That's good.
But my brother had a 66 Mustang that they completely refinished, refurbished, which, and I helped on that. But that was his first car. They refinished it, and by the time he was able to drive, that was what he drove, was the Mustang. And then mine was the 57 Porsche. So it was a great little death trap car. So it was amazing zipping around in that thing. But that's a great, I didn't mean to break the whole thought process, but that is a good analogy that I think a lot of people relate to, is using cars. So
For sure.
Yeah.
What were you saying about that?
Well, I was probably gonna go somewhere else.
Yeah, we had jumped off of plan sets, and the point with that was simply to say that
that's right.
Yeah, effectively, there's again nothing wrong with that. That's the way this thing works. Every it's all in the you kind of get what you pay for in the positive way.
Yeah.
Not to say something's bad.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, what you were talking about was, what does it take to go from 12-page plan set? Like, for everyone else, a 12-page plan set is a great start, right? We have a lot of information, but we likely don't have all the info. We don't have every detail, from how that eave's going to get water off to how that tile is going to be laid out a certain way, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Where that larger plan set hopefully has more of those questions answered before we start the project.
Right.
So that's all that means. So I think what Rick was kind of pointing at is that what happens is, in this space, is that you end up spending quite a bit of your time trying to add color to that gray area where there's information missing. And so,
well put.
I think in a way that's what you were alluding to, and I kind of jumped in, but
You put it better than I could have done it.
That's
adding color
good.
to it.
That's really good.
It is really what makes our job difficult is interpreting the gray, because there's a lot of gray in our space.
there are questions, but it also creates, you were using time, I think, as your example, and it was like, if we spend our time in there, if we go in and we start to embellish and again add that color, maybe a little bit of time in that actually creates a better outcome too. Like, so even without having it all figured out, sometimes getting involved, getting into the moment, getting into the space.
I agree.
If these two windows here in the studio have, if they were a little closer together or a little farther apart, would that do something? Would I be able to get a view that's better than it looked like in plan? My 3D rendering of where that tree is might have been off by 6 feet.
Yeah, 100%.
Whatever it may be.
Yeah, 100%.
I think I may have taken it a different direction.
Absolutely.
That's really wise. Yeah, there's definitely an art to the speed up, slow down, and I really think that the best project isn't one where it's 100% known at the beginning of the project, because the end result now is more detail better, yes, but that it's a better starting point. It's not a better ending point. So even if you have all of the details of the project, the best completed project isn't that replica, because along the way you're gonna find things. There's things outside of your control that industry changes, for example, trade change. Just the possibilities of things to go wrong are endless. And so as you're walking through that, navigating that with the client, with the project team, at the end of the result, you get a better project.
And it doesn't leave a whole lot of room for creativity. Like if truly everything is detailed and figured out at the beginning, that's great for efficiency, but I think when it comes to design and kind of the artistic quality of it, I don't know. There's something to be said about just figuring something out as you go and letting the function drive the form, if you will, and all those little discoveries that happen along the way, in some part give the home kind of this soul and this character. It's not just this, shake and bake kind of a thing where it's this repeatable, process. It's unique.
I've got to ask, do you have a literary background, Lonnie? That was really well said.
That was really well said.
I'm shocked to hear you say that because no, I don't.
I think you could do a podcast just on that. I think, should a builder be creative? Wow,
Yeah,
that's opening maybe a can of worms, but maybe not. When you allow a builder to participate in that collaboration with architect and designer and bring trades in on that, it's a whole new awesome ball game.
Yeah, it really
where
is.
you're going with that.
It really is.
I'm pretty sure this is true, so don't fact check me. But I think early architects and builders were one and the same.
Interesting.
I think I have heard this, meaning it made perfect sense for the architect to also be the person in the field constructing.
Yeah.
And
well,
so,
that's the case in other cultures as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Even more so.
Yep.
So that makes sense to me.
Yeah,
Right?
it does.
And I think in the office as a home builder, you want the perfect plan. You want quick outcome. Overhead, it's expensive. What it takes to do a project is expensive and time consuming. You want happy clients. But I think probably the best houses are always the ones that took their time and continually responded to their environment and to what's right for the home.
Ah, that's so cool.
And I think, again, when you're trying to run a construction business, that's hard. But I think Rick and I both, our hope would be that even in those hardest times where you really want to see something done, that we still push to try and get to make that call and say, guys, I really think you should add a window here. And it's going to take 6 more weeks, and we don't want you to do it.
Yeah.
But I have to tell you.
Yeah.
It's like, and sometimes that's probably really not. But I don't know. It's cool when a house is right.
I agree.
It's like when you go through a space and you're just excited about every turn as you walk through a house, like that makes me want to be a builder again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
And so I don't know. That's cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
That
is.
stuff matters.
Yeah, it does matter.
Or at least we think it matters.
Yeah.
But-
No, I really think it matters. Yeah.
Preston, on one of the signs that I guess you printed. I still haven't seen this sign, but someone came up to me the other day and said, "Hey, have you seen this? What Preston put on your sign? It's this quote about being built into something."
Oh, it's your quote. I put
You were saying that. I don't remember
That's
saying
awesome.
it.
You absolutely,
It
you
was probably
absolutely
your
said
quote.
it. No, it's definitely yours. It's on our website. It's like a real thing. I think it's on our website.
What is it?
That's so
What's
good.
the
Yeah.
quote?
It's hold on. I should just
Something
look it up to tell
about
you
being
exactly.
built into.
No, it's basically what we're doing. It's not about what we're building. It's what we're being built into. Something like that. This is terrible. I should just have this memorized, but I don't. But Rick said this years ago, and it was like just a neat moment when he was talking about this, and I can look it up and tell you guys later. We can edit it.
Yeah.
But basically, it was just saying that the opportunity we get to do, we get
Yes.
to be home builders.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's not so much about what we're building; it's about what this experience is doing in us.
Mm.
And so we do think, obviously, each home we're better builders as a result of each house we build.
Yeah.
We kind of tongue in cheek tell every client, you're like, "Hey, you're going to get the best house we've ever built."
Yeah.
All of my past experience. And then there's a little bit of
That's good.
discomfort with that. We're like, but the next guy's going to get a better one. That doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Forgive me. I don't have it for
Yeah, well, I
verbatim,
think
but-
where that goes, like with this particular project, just the heat that it's turned on to us, it's sort of it's helped us take a step up a little bit. One of the things we wanted to do this year is show up as a non-anxious presence, show up as a person of peace. And I don't know, are you guys familiar with John Mark Comer?
A little bit.
So he's like one of our favorite guys.
Yeah.
And I'm going to read this quote to you because I just think it's great. He said, "Jesus had every right to be the most anxious person on earth, and yet he was the most at peace.
Wow.
Mm.
That's cool.
He was misunderstood, accused, and eventually crucified. And he still said, 'Do not let your hearts be troubled.'"
Wow.
That's
And I
very
just-
good.
That's awesome.
It's such a great quote.
That's really good.
Yeah.
But that's, that's helped us this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Challenged us in that
That's
area.
great. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up too, because it's easy to say and hard to do.
Yeah.
And,
100%.
So hard.
Yeah, but it's
And that, and that spills over into a lot of other areas. I mean, you talk about, not just professionally, but personally in the home, you have a wife and kids and, Michael, you're going to have a kid here pretty soon.
Right,
So, you'll know.
Give me a few months.
But, and it's like, sometimes it's very hectic and very chaotic and very stressful. And I think, speaking personally, like the role of a father is to kind of bring that anxiety down, bring the peace. You need to be this immovable rock that you can rely on. And so when the storm's going on around you, you're immovable. You're there as a stronghold. So to your quote kind of resonates, in a lot of different areas of life, not just in the construction world, but personally as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, can I get that quote? Can you send that to me? I think that's a beautiful quote.
Yeah,
I've never heard it
good.
before, but that's
Yeah.
amazing. So,
Yeah,
Um,
John Mark Homer's like, he's my hero.
Yeah.
So good.
and it's,
I want to thank you guys because we have been living it for 80-hour weeks since January 15th.
Yeah, this year's been pretty.
wow.
And it's been fun these last 2 days, especially just today and the latter part of yesterday, to just come out of the business,
Yeah.
think about spending time with you guys,
Come on.
and
Yeah.
and just remembering our roots a little bit.
Yeah, perfect.
One of the things we said this morning was that hundreds of kids woke up this morning eating their Cheerios and pancakes around an island that we built, and in a lot of cases,
That's
I
great.
helped designing.
Yeah.
And there's just so much meaning
Mm.
to us
Yeah,
in that.
Yeah.
it's so easy to get so hurried.
forgot that.
And
Yeah.
distracted by it's just busy. We're all too busy. Everybody is, right? And so, yeah, you forget what we do this for. It's
Yeah.
So meaningful.
It really is. Yeah,
Super
you're right.
meaningful.
And
Yeah.
yeah, we got to be a part of that. It's,
Yeah.
really, good. It's really, really cool.
All the sweat, all the non-AC conditioned rooms.
And all of those things,
They're so worth
right?
it.
Those all go away. You don't.
Yeah.
remember those
But you
things.
guys
We
helped us
joke
come
about
back
them.
to that.
Yeah.
That was a
Great.
no, really, I would
Good.
say-
Hey,
I would
you're
say-
welcome. We
Yeah, you
we
nailed
love.
that. It was neat. It did make us. It was in a weird way, kind of a reset. Oh yeah, we love this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's great.
No, I think I'm glad you said that. Right.
Well, we all share in that sentiment and that love of this industry and for what we do, and I can definitely tell we all have that passion and that drive for design and construction and service. So I mean, Rick, Preston, we've covered a lot of ground today, and I really appreciate both of y'all taking the time to come and speak to us, and I know everybody listening is going to gain something from this conversation. So I really appreciate it. I appreciate the gifts that you brought. Absolutely wonderful. So Rick, Preston, again, thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Oh, thanks, Lonnie and Michael. Yeah.
Yeah, our
Great
pleasure,
time.
and
Yeah.
thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Anytime.